on that effort. The next slide. So after you finish year 1, you move to year 2, and I should tell you, I should say something about testing too. At the end of every single block, you take a block exam. And your block exam will look for all the world like your step 1 exam that you must take after 2 years before you go into clinics. The test questions are written in the same way. The length of it is the same. The questions are integrated. You will get grades from that block exam for both or for all 4 of the themes. So you'll have a percentage grade for structure and function, another for homeostasis and regulation, and so on. If you get 90% or higher, you get honors. Okay? If you get above 70, you have passed. If you are below 70, you failed. And at the end of the semester, you continue to accumulate structure and function points, homeostasis and regulation points, and at the end of the semester, those percentages for each theme will give you the grades that are reported at the registrar's office, honors, pass, fail. If you fall into that failing category, that would indicate to us that you have not achieved competency, and you are requested to go through remediation with the option of a retest so that you can move on in the second semester with your class, and that's true after spring semester as well. So the key feature here is that almost all schools have gone to an honors pass-fail system. Some only have pass-fail. We have honors pass-fail. But the key thing to remember is that at many of the schools, they will vary who gets honors. They might say, well, in this particular course, 20% of the students will get honors, or 15% will get honors. We don't do that. We say, the bar is here, it's 90%. So I tell students when they come in, you are all honors students, stay there. Make sure that you stay there. You start out honors. So I don't care if 100% of the students become honors students. The way we write the exam, we feel confident that if a student achieves 90% or above, they deserve honors designation. So the year 2 has the same structure. The content changes because you're moving more into understanding more about how specific diseases develop and then how you treat those diseases. And you move, of course, into decision-making trees for patient care. So you're working more to understand evidence-based medicine. The themes are pathophysiology and genetic mechanisms of disease, immunity and infectious disease, because you're understanding more about the immune system, how the body responds to microbes. Therapeutics. Now, this should read therapeutics and nutrition, because we look at therapies that are not necessarily pharmacotherapies. We do look at the pharmacology, but we also consider non-pharmacologic therapies. And of course, fundamentals of patient care. And the systems blocks pretty much mirror the systems blocks of first year. So you're building your information on that system. And at the end of second year, you take your board, your step 1 of national boards. The next slide shows you your schedule for year 3. And at our school, we ask all students to take 6 required core rotations or clerkships, and they are the subject matter you see in the square boxes. Everyone takes family medicine, psych surgery, peds, internal medicine, and OBGYN. You get to choose, or at least request, the order of those clerkships. You may have a reason for wanting to do a few more things before you do surgery, or you may be anxious to get into peds right away because you feel most comfortable there. Different students have different reasons for requesting a schedule, and we try to accommodate each request as best we can. There's also time built into that year to allow you to take 4 selectives. And these are electives that will give you experiences in subjects that you don't see, perhaps, in the required rotation like radiology, pathology, neurology are some. There are many others, okay? There are over 80 selectives to choose from, and if they are not outside these blocks, they may be specialty topics within those blocks. So internal medicine, you could do cardiology, rheumatology, but they're within psychiatry, you could do forensic psychiatry, child psychiatry. There are many, many possibilities. Now, why would we want for you to have those very focused experiences? You go to the next slide, you'll see your year 4. You will have to decide, you will have to apply to residency programs by September 1 of year 4. So that's pretty scary, right? So that means that year 4 is not there to allow you to decide what kind of doctor you want to be. It's when you're deciding where you're going to do your residency. So that's a lot of pressure on you in year 3, and that's why we had careers in medicine topics from day 1, because we know that you're going to be faced with these decisions. So you will be interviewing from September, it depends on what specialty you're interested in and what discipline, but you'll be interviewing from September to about November, sometimes a little bit later. You will also be completing your last 3 rotations, which are advanced internal medicine, advanced surgery, and then you do an externship. And an externship, you see the block is higher because that is an experience that best equates to the level of responsibility that you will have as you enter your residency program, your intern year. So it's an opportunity to see what's to be expected in the following year. You also do 5 electives, and there are a lot of different ways to satisfy those requirements, and many of our students choose to do electives at the residency programs that they're applying to. So they may do 2 or 3 electives early in the fall as they're going to interview for residency. That's a great thing because it allows residency programs to get a great look at you and see your value. It also allows you to evaluate those programs. And sometimes students will go to a residency program that they claim is going to be first on their list, only to find that they don't mesh well with that environment. Yet they can go to another institution and find the perfect match. So those away rotations can be very valuable for you. So February, early in February, you will send in your rank list. You will tell a central computerized spot which is your first choice, your second, your third, fourth, on to 13, 14, 15 sometimes. At the same time, the residency programs nationwide are looking at all of the people they interviewed and they're ranking their applicants, making their own list. And then the 2 lists go into the computer, and heaven knows what happens in there. I still don't fully understand it, but I'm told that the computer weighs in favor of the student's request. Okay? So if your number 1 request, they didn't pick you, or you ended up not on their list, the computer right away goes to your number 2 and sees whether or not you match there. But the bottom line is, on March 17th, you find out where you're going to spend the next 3 to 7 years of your life. And then you graduate in May. So you see, you're finished already. You're finished. The years go by fast. Every year goes faster than the last, and you will wonder where the time went. The next slide tackles, I want to say something. I've told you that this is a very demanding program. It is, no matter where you go to medical school. And not because any one part or piece of it is that much harder than anything else you learn as students here. It's just that there is so much. There's so much. When I gave the students the first year of our new curriculum, we gave them the syllabus, for the block. And the student said, do we get another one like this next semester? And I said, well, no, you get another one like that in 5 weeks. And that is the truth, in 5 weeks. So you're learning, you have to know how to sift through large volumes of information and somehow walk away maintaining the clinically relevant pieces. Now, we have a role in helping you do that, but sometimes it requires that you learn a different way to study. And a lot of times students who come to my office, just who are not satisfied with their test results, I'll say, well, tell me how you studied in undergraduate school. They say, well, I didn't really have to study in undergraduate school. Well, you see, that's the problem. That's the problem, because if you didn't ever have to work to figure out the best way to learn, when faced with this challenge, you're starting from scratch, and that's a bad time to start, you know. So having told you that, I'm not trying to discourage you. What I'm trying to tell you is that at our Center for Academic Excellence, I advise students to walk in there the first day. We will have assigned you a supplemental instructor in the first week for your FTC group. This is not a place you go when you get in trouble. You can go there if you get in trouble, but ideally you go there to capitalize, maximize your ability to learn. They will give you diagnostic tests to determine whether you're a visual learner, an auditory learner, and then they will tell you where your time is best spent. You know, you should focus on the integrity recordings. You know, you must always sit in the front of the class. They'll help you understand how you can learn best. And you look at me and you say, I know how to learn. I wouldn't be applying to medical school if I couldn't learn, but I will tell you, you will use this resource. And if you do, you'll be successful. They also include a writing center, which will help you all the way through up to the point when you are applying for your residencies. They'll help you with your personal statements and applications. They will give you diagnostic tests prior to step 1 of the national boards that will predict your score if you take the test within 1 week of that day, and they're amazingly accurate. And so they may say, you're ready. They may say, we really think you could use 2 more weeks of study in this area. And the students who work with them have a much, much higher success rate than those who try to do it alone. Now, in the next slide, and next, let's take that one. The other way that we try to make sure that you're learning is to give you all sorts of resources. All of our lectures are taped and on integrity. You can go back to specific areas in the lecture and listen again, if that helps you, along with all of the PowerPoint presentations or films or whatever resource was used. We have the Simulation Center, and I firmly believe that there are certain individuals who do most of their learning in that interactive session. They need to put their hands on that mannequin. They need to hear that particular valve sound to fully appreciate the function of that valve. So we have that. We have full dissection in gross anatomy lab, and a lot of our students learn most of their anatomy in the lab. On the other hand, there are some who learn completely from lecture. But the point is that we have all of these different sorts of resources because we realize that no 2 students learn in the same way. So if you make use of the resources, I guarantee your success at medical school. And that is our new curriculum, and I would be happy to answer any of your questions now or if you want to come forward later, I'd be happy to answer. Thank you very much, all of you.
What we can do is to see if any of you want to ask some questions to either one of our presenters, and then if we want to do that, or if you need to leave, that's fine, and then let's entertain some questions that you might have and direct them to either Ms. Taylor or Dr. Hazelmark. And then after we take care of some of your questions, and if you'd like to interact with them one-on-one, that would be fine as well. So any questions for either of the two presenters? Anyone? Yes.